Every crisis feels different when you are inside it. The Great Depression felt like the end of work. Inflation felt like the end of savings. 2008 felt like the end of banks. COVID felt like the end of movement itself. Different causes, different fears, same result. Most people were unprepared, but history shows something uncomfortable. While many positions failed again and again, a small number survived every crisis since 1929. Not because they were lucky, not because they predicted the future, but because they were built on principles that do not change when the world panics. The first thing to understand is that crises do not destroy value evenly. They expose weakness. Anything fragile breaks, anything rigid cracks, anything dependent suffers. But things built for uncertainty bend instead of snapping. Most people fail in crises not because they are wrong, but because they are forced to act at the worst possible moment. They run out of time. They run out of flexibility. They run out of options. Survival in every crisis belongs to positions that reduce urgency. The first position that survives every crisis is liquidity, not excitement, not returns. Liquidity means having the ability to wait. During the Great Depression, those with access to cash survived, while others were forced to sell assets for pennies. During inflation, those with no buffer were crushed by rising costs. In 2008, those who needed markets to stay open lost everything. During COVID, those without reserves had no choices. Liquidity is boring. That is why most people ignore it, but liquidity does one thing better than any other position. It buys time, and time is the most valuable asset during chaos. When markets fall, prices do not reflect value. They reflect urgency. The seller with no liquidity is not negotiating. They are surrendering. Liquidity turns emergencies into opportunities. It allows calm decisions when others are emotional. It removes pressure. It creates optionality. Every crisis rewards those who can say, "I don't need to act today." This does not mean hoarding money forever. It means respecting flexibility. It means not living at the edge of your capacity. The system always punishes those with no margin. The second position that survives every crisis is ownership of productive systems. Not hype, not speculation, real production. In 1929, companies that produced essential goods survived while speculative shells vanished. During inflation, productive systems adjusted prices while fixed incomes fell behind. In 2008, businesses with real cash flow lived while financial structures collapsed. During COVID, operations that could adapt continued while rigid models failed. Production matters because it connects effort to value. A productive system creates something people need or use: food, energy, transportation, communication, organization. When times are good, production looks slow compared to speculation. When times are bad, production becomes everything. Speculation depends on confidence. Production depends on necessity. This is why productive systems outlive cycles. They adjust, they cut costs, they change processes, they survive. Ownership here does not mean specific assets. It means alignment with creation rather than extraction. Extraction fails when the system tightens. Creation adapts. History shows that economies can collapse, currencies can weaken, markets can fall, but production never disappears. It reorganizes. Those positioned close to production ride through change. Those positioned only on expectations do not. The third position that survives every crisis is human capital with leverage. Skills that move, adapt, and compound. In 1929, those who could work across industries survived while narrow roles disappeared. During inflation, those who could raise income kept pace while fixed earners fell behind. In 2008, those with transferable skills found work while specialized roles vanished. During COVID, those who could work remotely or pivot continued while others stopped completely. Skills are the only asset that does not get frozen, defaulted on, or inflated away. They travel with you. A skill that solves real problems becomes more valuable during stress, not less. Systems always need problem solvers. They always need organizers. They always need builders. This is why education alone is not enough. Credentials freeze. Skills move. Leverage comes from skills that scale. Teaching, designing, analyzing, coordinating, creating systems. People often misunderstand leverage. They think it means risk. It does not. It means impact per unit of effort. During crises, leverage matters because effort becomes scarce. Those who can do more with less survive. These three positions share one trait. They reduce dependence on perfect conditions. Liquidity removes time pressure. Production creates value regardless of mood. Skills adapt to changing environments. None of them promise excitement. None of them look impressive during booms. That is why most people abandon them when times feel safe. Safety creates overconfidence. Overconfidence creates fragility. Every crisis punishes fragility. The lesson from 1929 to COVID is not about predicting the next crash. It is about respecting uncertainty. The future is never smooth. It only looks smooth in hindsight. People who survive crises do not know what will happen next. They simply prepare for many outcomes instead of one. This is where most people fail. They build lives that only work if everything goes right. They maximize short-term comfort and assume stability. History punishes that assumption. The world does not reward those who guess correctly once. It rewards those who stay in the game. Survival precedes success. Liquidity keeps you alive. Production keeps you relevant. Skills keep you adaptable. These positions are quiet. They do not trend. They do not promise fast wins. But they have one advantage that speculation never will. They survive. When systems shake, noise increases. Opinions multiply. Fear spreads. Most people act emotionally because they have no buffer. Those with these positions act calmly because they do not need immediate outcomes. Calm thinking becomes possible only when pressure is low. Pressure destroys intelligence. This is why crises feel unfair. They reward preparation, not effort. Hard work without margin still fails. The uncomfortable truth is that resilience must be built before it is needed. You cannot add liquidity during a crisis. You cannot learn deep skills instantly. You see and not create production overnight. By the time the storm arrives, positioning is already set. This is not pessimism. It is realism. Every crisis looks unique, but the human response is the same. Panic, denial, overreaction, regret. Those who avoid these traps do so not because they are smarter, but because they are structured differently. They do not rely on one outcome. They do not live at maximum capacity. They do not confuse optimism with safety. The system always tests assumptions eventually. Those whose lives depend on uninterrupted growth fail when growth pauses. Those who respect cycles adapt. None of this guarantees comfort. Crises are uncomfortable by definition, but survival is not about comfort. It is about continuity. History does not remember who felt confident before crashes. It remembers who remained standing after them. The three positions that survived every crisis did not do so because they were clever. They did so because they respected uncertainty. They accepted that the world changes. They planned for stress. They valued flexibility over prediction. This is the difference between intelligence and wisdom. Intelligence tries to forecast. Wisdom prepares. Crises do not destroy everyone equally. They reveal who built for resilience and who built for appearance. Most people chase what looks strong in good times. Few prepare for bad times. That imbalance never changes. The lesson from 1929 to today is simple but difficult. Do not optimize only for growth. Optimize for survival first. Everything that survives long enough eventually grows again. Nothing that collapses disappears quietly. The quiet positions endure, and endurance over time beats everything else.